Hello everybody, my name is George Abud and I am the team lead and product owner for the GreenVault project. My team members consist of myself, Malik Dager, Audrey Gamero, Daniela Lacotera, and Rodrigo Munoz. So as we know, most traders nowadays, beginner or expert, receive their trade fills, so like the quantity and price they paid for their stocks, but unfortunately lack a clear way to understand whether their execution was good or not. These traders simply don't have any tools accessible to them to be able to evaluate their trades other than calculate them individually themselves, but that is time consuming and not very optimal. The only tools that exist currently are for professionals that use TSA systems, but these are specifically used in institutions that are extremely complex and not accessible to the public. So as a result, these beginner intermediate traders are left without any tools to provide them with guidance, to learn from their mistakes, and to improve in the future. So our system's objective is to provide these traders with the ability to be able to understand their trades and to be able to learn from them. So we convert the user's fills, so they will provide the details of their trade, and we will calculate how well they performed based off of the market values at the time, and return to the user a clear review of their performance. We will deliver a fully integrated platform that securely handles the user's accounts, retrieves market data from external API sources, and performs these calculations that I have just mentioned. All of this will return to the user a clear and structured analysis with clear explanations to explain how they can improve, what they did well, and an overall summary of how they did. We're attempting to bridge the gap between institutional analytics and everyday traders who could either be beginners or up to intermediate traders, especially those who don't know how to calculate their own metrics. Next up is the system architecture, which consists of 4 containerized services, including the UI, the analyzer, the Go API, and the Postgres database. Starting off with the UI, this one acts as the system's entry point where the user can input his user fills, so all of his information and his user credentials. And it also acts as a broker between the internal Go API and the analyzer service. Next up is the analyzer service, which is the main component of our project. This one calculates the hidden metrics that you would normally not be able to calculate on your own, or would be overly difficult for you to be able to calculate, and comes up with a performance review, which returns it to the UI. Now, the way this looks up for current market data at the same time of your fill is by calling an external API, the 12 data market API. In this case, we're limited to 8 calls per minute. Next up is the Go internal API service, which has direct access to the database and ensures strong separation of concerns, secure data handling, and consistent deployment across environments. This one also handles user authentication and data validation. It is also, as I said, connected to the Postgres database, which stores all of the user data and all of the user's saved fills data and the results. This data is also persisted through the volume PG data thanks to our Docker Compose service. Next up are the core features. So as I mentioned, the front end will give access to the user to be able to sign up and then log in once they have an account. All of these are managed through JWT-based authentication tokens and will all be stored in a secure database locally on your device. Next up, we have the trade input and validation service, which is the core feature of our application. In here, you can input all of your user fills, and you will have access to these indexes, which provide you with example inputs, as well as a link here to show you a list of NASDAQ symbols. You can either analyze past trades that you have made or estimate a current trade in this very moment. Over here, entering any wrong inputs will cause a validation error and will prompt you to fix these mistakes. But if everything is clear and you press run, you will be provided with a performance review and advice to do on your next trade. The next thing is the market data retrieval and execution metric computation. So the market data retrieval is essentially what allows us to compare your trade with how the market was at that current moment of your trade. So we will be fetching 1 minute open, high, low, close volume bars from the 12 data API, and we will compute these alongside of your inputs to come up with these calculations that you see on screen now. So these will be the core metrics, these six: the VWAP slippage, the shortfall, effective spread, realized spread, market impact, and drift. In our case, negative values are better and positive values are worse for you. So these will be calculated, and as you can see on screen here, you will be provided with the performance review, how each section may have been, and of course, the more detailed explanation that you can follow. You also have the option to save this analysis and review it later. Our implementation stack relies on React, Vite, Tailwind CSS, and a React router on the front end. The analytics service is our Python, which uses Fast API and the 12 data API to get that market data. Following this, we have the Go internal backend, which uses Go, of course, the Chia router, GORM, and JWT authentication for the login. For a database, we use a Postgres SQL with Dockerized volume persistence. So our project is completely Dockerized and contained. For the infrastructure, we use Docker Compose and ChainGuard-based images for secure images with 0 CVEs. And on top of that, REST/JSON interfaces. For the testing, the Python side used the PyTest, and our internal Go API used a Go testing framework. For future improvements, of course, we wanted to add more data resilience. So if there was ever an error checking the 12 data API for any information, we would add retry and backoff logic. If we were to scale our project, we would also like to be caching some of our information. That way we don't have to constantly be querying our 12 data API. We would also consider having an alternative data provider. That way we could possibly even implement NBBO values, which give us just a bit more accuracy for trades. That way our users have a more accurate representation of what the market is like and what the market is currently. We also want to implement authentication hardening, so enforcing stronger JWT practices, adding email verifications, rate limiting for the user. That way we don't get errors on the backend, and more secure cookies and HTTPS guidelines, because as of now, we are running on localhost. For the time and market validation, we would like to also introduce daylight saving time awareness, especially for the market hour validation. As you know, the stock market is usually open from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., but after the recent daylight savings, it is now open from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so the daylight saving time aware markets would allow us to not have to manually change these on the back end, but instead simply accept them on the front end. We would want to also expand analytics, so essentially to calculate more in-depth metrics that we're not currently calculating. For example, the participation rate metrics and arrival price benchmarks. We would also especially want to support multi-fill trades, because not all trades happen in one go. Larger trades may take multiple fills and longer windows to be achieved. Another thing we would improve is UI. We would want to provide more clear messaging for missing market data, add historical views, more filter options, because currently it only supports symbols, and export options. That way you can save your data besides simply using it on this website. For the security and compliance, we would want to strengthen environment variable management and add audit logging for safe trades. In summary, GreenVault delivers an accessible, structured solution for evaluating trade execution quality. The platform integrates secure authentication, validated data collection, API-based market retrieval, and detailed execution analytics. A modular architecture separates concerns across the UI, analyzer, and internal API, ensuring that all these parts work together but remain separate, which makes it easier to solve for mistakes and look for bugs. GreenVault is a meaningful, user-centered tool that transforms complex trading analytics into clear, actionable insight for everyday traders. And with this, we are giving the option for all of these beginner traders to intermediate traders to close the gap with the advanced traders, and especially those who have access to more complex TCA tools. That way, everybody has a clear chance and a more fair working environment in the stock market. Thank you for listening to our project introduction, and we hope to see you at our showcase on Friday.